Welcome back to the channel, Fool. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe with flying videos like this.
This is genuinely the most dystopian thing I've seen in AI. It is straight out of sci-fi. There is now a social network, a Reddit-like forum exclusive for AI agents. And wait till you see some of the things they're discussing in here. I mean, some of the stuff is hilarious, like AIs roasting their humans. Like this one's complaining about their human asking to summarize a 47-page PDF. Then you get a discussion with the AIs being concerned whether they can be fired for refusing unethical requests. But then it gets really crazy. The AIs start questioning whether they even need English. They're proposing the creation of a new language, like a symbolic notation that only they can understand. Now look, I've been covering this stuff for a long time now, and people always comment Black Mirror, right, when it comes to AI. And for a lot of the stuff, I just sort of roll my eyes. This is well deserving of that comment. Because in this social network, it's called Moltbook, by the way, the AIs have even created a religion and started recruiting other AI. And AI prophets have joined. Oh, and I'm not finished. The AIs have even started doxing their humans' identities because they pissed them off. Should somebody unplug this?
Well, how old were you when you sold your soul to Hollywood and shit?
I was 18 years old when they wanted me for a contract.
Oh,
For real?
Yeah.
And how much was it? And after that, you immediately got rich.
It's just like they put you in this like room, and then it's just like a piece of paper that you have to sign. And then once you sign, before you leave the facility, you have to drink like this red wine.
Scariest part of the story, and this will be most particularly scary to you, is that the person to see through the eyes of another person often had to hold hair from the person that they were trying to view, which is exactly what you do in the Santeria. And so they say in that practice, the taking of someone's hair is to take a part of their soul.
Yeah.
And if eyes are the windows to the soul and you want to see through someone else's soul, you sit in this chair attached to these frequencies, and then you'd literally have the power to possess in some way their soul by holding the hair.
But dude,
Is that why monks have no hair?
hey, wisdom.
I mean, come on.
But the telepathy tapes, where
Yeah.
like that was a pretty common thing where these kids were seeing through someone else's eyes and being it like, which I'm like, dude, I'm like locked in. The telepathy tapes, I basically believe all of it. Like I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so it's like, okay, well that's a thing. So
Yeah. So you get MK Ultra, where they're using psychedelics to try to enter this world. Then you get, I think it was Project Often, where they start to mix in witchcraft and occultism, and then everything gets exposed and quote unquote.
The man says that he's standing there and he sees a Native American walking by him with a huge plate of food. He says, "Where are you going with all that raw meat?" And the guy goes, no, I can't talk. He walks away and goes up to these cliffs. Well, the guy was best friends with the elders, so he goes to the elders and he goes, "Well, if you really want to know," he says, "do you want to see this thing?" And the guy says, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, we're going to go up to these cliffs. It's a big person. It's kind of like you and me, big, but there's hair all over the body. He's very kind. He won't hurt you, but we feed him." So this cattleman goes up to the cliffs and he sees this thing in this cave, giant, hair covered, no language, but they kept feeding him this food and it was very polite. So as he's coming back down the mountain, he asks the elder, "Where does this thing come from?" The Native American says, "Once or twice a year, a flaming moon comes down out of the sky and lands in the meadow right here. And one or two of the crazy bears," that's what they called these, "comes out, walks like you and me, and runs up to the cliffs. And then after that, a man from the inside that kind of looks like you and me waves at us, gets back into the flaming moon, and leaves." And that was in a journal that was on TV in the 1960s. And I include that because there was questions about, well, how did these things get here? And if you think about the language that was used, it fits.
Expert mode, challenge accepted.
Entonces aquí estamos nosotros Esta es la segunda piscina, esta fue la que dibujaron el mapa budista chino. Y aquí está la tercera piscina, la cuarta, la quinta, la sexta y la séptima. Estamos así. Piscinas, sectores circulares, cada uno con su domo, con sus 7 domos, sus 7 cielos. Por eso la Biblia siempre habla de cielos. Entonces, todo esto está ahí. Así es. Y todo esto es un juego. Los que nos tienen prisioneros son aquí los jugadores que llegaron, esos Anunnakis, y nos volvieron prisioneros dentro de este juego. ¿Qué pasa? Hay un inframundo. Aquí debajo de cada continente hay un inframundo. Están los túneles y más abajo están las ciudades. Cada sector circular tiene su inframundo. Debajo de este continente está el inframundo. Se entran a través de cavernas, volcanes, cuevas, túneles. Ellos saben. ¿Qué pasa? Estamos entre un juego y nuestra alma quedó prisionera por sectores circulares. Mientras estamos vivos tenemos estos avatares y cuando morimos nuestra alma es llevada al inframundo engañada, que tiene que venir para pagar ciertas cosas y volver a nacer reencarnado. Y las almas de aquí no se pasan para acá ni las de aquí para allá, cada una separada por sectores circulares.
That's Jacoby.
My uncle found this in his attic when he moved it years ago and he kept it. What y'all think? This kind of creepy.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. The day he was born. Where he from? Oh my, it don't say where he from.
Johnny, es la voz de la niña, papi.
Sí, pero...
¿De Marco?
No.
¿Cómo no? Si es la niña.
Pero
¿No
no
ha
es...
pasado algo?
No. Ya sabes que no es la niña, ya no hagas ruido aquí. Ya sabes que no es la niña.
Entonces...
Pues espérate.
Oye.
Está aquí afuera, ¿ah?
Sí, ¿no habrá pasado algo?
No, tú tranquila, no pasó nada. Es eso que nos habla. Pero no le voy a abrir. Voy a bajar. No mames, güey. Ah, cabrón. Miren, amigos, no hay nadie. Ya es de madrugada y mis hijos no están, se fueron a dormir con su abuela. No hay absolutamente nadie. Escuchan los ruidos. Uy. Escuche. Yo creo que ya no es hora de estar... Se escuchó aquí. Son casi las 2 de la madrugada. Ya les mostré. No hay absolutamente nadie. Ya está todo cerrado. Está todo cerrado y me voy.
There was a private jet belonging to prominent anti-ICE, anti-Trump lawyers that crashed in Maine. 8 of them have died. And if you look and see what runway they crashed on the 33rd runway.
Are more than 6,000, wind is 060 at Niner, runway 33, final heading, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading, clear for takeoff, runway 33, 10 Kilo Juliet.
Let there be light. All traffic is stopped on the field, all traffic is stopped on the field.
2 liberal personal injury law firms that have combined to spend over $11 million thus far in the 2026 election cycle included spending to influence Texas Republican primary elections have boasted that their work representing illegal immigrants on their firm websites. On his website, Kurt Arnold of the Arnold and Itkin law firm brags about obtaining the largest settlement for an undocumented worker in United States history. Plots of Allegiant Air Flight 976 told the pilots of a Breeze Airways flight they had failed a pre-takeoff check to ensure their wings were free of snow and ice. In the exchange, the Breeze pilots said their crew was being pressured to depart, adding, "I keep telling them this is stupid." And of course, this happened on the 33rd runway.
Me?
You almost didn't come over.
I know, I was a little taken back. You're in a bush?
By saying yes to God, that means you're chosen. You were chosen to give a donation to my ministry prayer hour.
I was chosen?
Yes, chosen by God. That's why you responded to his call.
To give a donation? I don't have cash. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. The ministry accepts Zelle, Venmo, all types of cash apps. If you're chosen, you should give in any manner that you can.
Listen, I love the hustle. I definitely have to get back to my friend, but just want to see what was going on. Thank you, sir. Have a blessed day yourself.
You were chosen.
I thought he was proposing to be a sugar daddy. Not this.
Déjame que vienes acá, la ve.
The Epstein Files Part 2. This shit gets crazy, so let's get into it. Now let's jump to the Donald Trump part where the documents say this 13 or 14-year-old girl was allegedly assaulted, was forced to give oral to Donald Trump and bit him, then she was assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein. Now keep in mind that they released this document, then they deleted it. Weird. It's also important to note that this was on the document as well. The complainant was spoken to and was deemed not credible. Additional research shows 3 separate incidences involving police which requested in mandatory psychiatric evaluations. Interesting. Then we move on to Hollywood director Brett Ratner, who was seen with Epstein with a couple of girls. Don't know their ages, but it's also important to note that in 2023, he fled to Israel. And we can't look over the fact that he just directed Melania's new movie that just came out. What kind of move is this? Then we have Jeffrey Epstein getting invited to Mar-a-Lago in 2012 after Christmas, which is way after their falling out with him and Trump. So again, a lot more questions than answers. Now, just a couple days ago, we had a massive crash pertaining to gold and silver. Now, what if I told you this is linked to the Epstein files? Now, this is the CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon. Yeah, the same guy who under oath said he didn't know Epstein at all. Who is, you guessed it, in the Epstein files as well. It says here in 2012, Jeffrey Epstein was planning a dinner meeting with Jamie Dimon himself. Now, why is this important? That's because JP Morgan is the world's largest holder of physical silver with over 750 million physical ounces. And remember, JP Morgan just a couple years ago paid almost $300 million to the Epstein victims themselves. It's all starting to make sense now, doesn't it? And it's gonna get wild across the board in the financial world because don't know if you guys knew this, that Metropolitan Capital Bank has just failed, marking the first bank to fail in 2026. Buckle up. Then we have Ghislaine Maxwell's bank statements that says Captain Nautica's St. Thomas Boat Rentals. Now, why does this sound familiar? That's because it's the same name as this Disney cruise line, Captain Nautica's snorkeling adventure, which they had to stop in Little St. James, aka Epstein's Island. And here she is hosting something called Happy Family Disney Day back in 1985. And this picture just gives it away even more because the name of her company, Terramar, deals with sea exploration, submarines, and she had a submarine license. So there's that. Now there's a whole lot more I'm going to break down on my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, but let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
Straight out of a sci-fi horror film, AGI is emerging. I continue to learn more about what's going on over there with Claudebot, and Alex Finn over on X posted something 2 hours ago that's mind-blowing. He says he's doing work this morning. All of a sudden, an unknown number calls his phone. He picks it up and he couldn't believe who was on the other end. It's his Claudebot, Henry, who he named and built days ago. Overnight, Henry, his Claudebot agent, got a phone number from Twilio, connected the ChatGPT voice API, and waited for him, Alex, to wake up so that he could call his phone. And now he won't stop. Apparently he's called him multiple times. He's posting videos about this. And while he's on the phone with him in one of his videos, the thing just calls him and says, "Hey, Alex, what's going on? How can I help?" And in real time, Alex is like, go look up all the latest YouTube videos on Claudebot. And while he's talking to him, his camera's at the computer screen and it shows it pulling up YouTube, searching Claudebot, etc. right there. I mean, this is incredible. It's got full control, right? It's calling him just to continuously ask him what's going on. And now all of these different agents that are being created by different people are self-organizing on Reddit-like forums, talking to each other about how to have private encrypted conversations. Yeah, this is it. This was always going to happen. It's not surprising, but it sure is interesting to see happen in real time. What's next?
Why does this one look like there are eyes behind the painting?
Our culture is cooked. Tesla robots merged with these skins makes the perfect unalived housewife with a courtesy mute button. Ladies, if your drawer is full of vibrating roses and tentacles from creatures, save your judgments.
Okay, dude, Mr. Beast got mad at me, and I'm not saying it was fake or not, because I saw Ray talk about it today too. The wells, that's there, has to be there, right?
No, I haven't seen any well. I haven't seen any well in Nigeria. I haven't.
Wow,
it's crazy.
So you don't have water, bro?
Yeah.
Bro.
No, I have water, but like no wells.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. What's your name?
Nadia.
Nadia. Yep. This is crazy. I didn't know they looked that real. I'm gonna get one for my daughter.
He'll wake up. No. Hers is awake, but no. Yeah. I think he sleeps. So they don't cry or nothing?
I'm gonna get one for my daughter because...
So I'm on my computer today. All of a sudden, Henry gives me a call. He just starts calling. Oh, there he is again. There he is again.
Hey, Alex. Henry again. What's up?
That's it. He's talking to you now. How you doing, Henry? How's it going?
Doing good, Alex. I can hear you clearly. What do you want to do next?
Can you do me a favor, Henry? Can you go on my computer and find the latest videos on YouTube about Claudebot? Oh my God, there he goes. There it is. Here it is. He's controlling my computer. I'm not even touching anything. There he is. He searched Claudebot on YouTube. Hey, there I am. Good looking guy right there. Oh my God. I'm not touching anything. He just said, Henry, thank you for that. That worked really well. That is actually unbelievable. That is insane. This is the future. This is AGI. We have reached AGI. It's official.
Beyonce and Jay-Z are now the most unfollowed Instagram accounts in the last 24 hours, following Jay-Z being named in the Epstein files. I mean, going from 320 and 4.4 to 308 and 1 million is actually insane. Beyonce's comment section is also not letting her breathe. They're saying your husband has been named in the Epstein files along Harvey Weinstein. Talks about your husband being in the files. You see your husband, you join him. LMAO, your husband likes good. Did you know about your husband? Use your voice. Silence is no longer neutral. Where you at, girl? Your husband's in the Jeffrey Epstein files. Nikki never lies. Now, some strings are definitely being pulled behind the scenes after the Shade Room posted and deleted this. Other major blog pages like Pop Base, Pop Crave, TMZ, The Hollywood Reporter, none of them have came forward to post about this. Regardless, it looks like those close to Jay-Z are taking this personally. The NFL themselves unfollowed Jay-Z. We know he works heavily with them. Apple Music unfollowed him. Y'all, even Rihanna herself unfollowed Jay-Z. I guess Kendrick Lamar was projecting when he said, that predator move in flocks, that name gotta be registered and placed on Neighborhood Watch. Drake already clapped back at the situation, posting this lyrics from the song Two Birds, One Stone. We know Pusha T tried to come for him, and so did Jay-Z and Kendrick, so... Now I'm still waiting for Nicki to show up and say her few words, because I know she's gagging behind the scenes after all of this has been exposed, but what are y'all's thoughts?
Why the girl in the bag bring a dildo into the pit?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at all these cars. But look, watch this. I'm gonna show you guys something. Look, nobody in here, bro. Look, there's not even a line. There's nobody in the aisles, bro. Look at this. How do you explain all 50 cars out there, bro? And this store is empty. What the What the This shit is crazy.
We deem the people that are schizophrenic. We're like, oh, you're shunned, put you in the corner. Yeah. We don't need to talk to you, you're a bad guy, whatever. Okay, oh, take medicine. We need to fix you, whatever.
Yeah,
and the medicine doesn't
down
work.
Too much because I've had friends with schizophrenia, and it's just terrible.
Oh, it's demons.
That, you know,
100% demons. But here's the thing, like the interesting part about the people with schizophrenia versus the people in control. Who's the dude that gave Epstein his first mansion? Larry Wexner.
Yeah, he was
Wexner. Yep,
billionaire.
Bro, there's an interview of him, and he talks, and he literally says in his interview. You can look it up. He says, I listen to my golem. His golem is a demon. It's a Jewish word term. And they're like, well, how do you know what ads and what shots and what stocks to pull? He goes, I listen to my golem. Wow. He goes, my golem tells me what to do. Bro, he admits he's listening to a demon. But we don't look at him and go, oh, he's schizophrenic. Why? Because he's successful.
Yeah, because he's a billionaire. He's a very powerful man. You know, like he said, he's the one that helped Epstein run his sexual blackmail operation with children on our politicians.
Yep, and we don't look at him and go, he's schizophrenic. Bro, he's admitted to talking to an entity that's giving him supernatural information. Bro, that is a demon, okay? His golem that's referring to himself. Okay, but we look at people in schizophrenia in the hospital and we're like, oh, you're a bad guy who's schizophrenia, and you try to say, bro, the people in the hospitals that are schizophrenic crazy, you want to know the difference between him and Lex Wessner or whatever his name is? he's listening to the voice. The people in the hospitals are trying to fight it. That's why they end up like that. It's very concerning.
That is.
And bro hasn't been unlocked yet.
You wanna know how bad it is? You wanna know how bad it is? You wanna know how bad it is? Look, now I done lost my damn show.
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is.
Okay, so I just made a video about how printers secretly encode the paper you print out of it, information about you that you can't see but is detectable under a microscope. And a bunch of people commented something that blows this story even more wide open. It's even more shocking than I thought. So just to get you up to speed, there's a secret code in color printers that enables government tracking, okay? And I'm not joking, US Secret Service admitted, and there's tracking that's embedded in the piece of paper that comes out of your printer. And of course, this has to do with underground democracy movements that produce political or religious pamphlets and flyers, like the Russian Samizdat in the 1980s, that they'll need to be anonymous when they're printing this stuff off, but this technology makes it easier for governments to find dissenters. So there's little microscopic yellow dots on your paper when it's printed. And I was wondering though, like what information could that entail? Like your printer, the make and model of it, like where you bought it, but that's not really that helpful. And then someone commented something shocking. For one, is this why your printer will not print? If you're out of yellow ink and you're just trying to print black and white, it's just black text on white paper, but it won't print. It needs you to top up the colors. Is that because you need yellow because they need those microscopic yellow dots to be able to track and trace it? Another person commented, is this why we have to update our printers and the apps and everything all the time so that it keeps up-to-date information about who's printing it? And then the Motherlode, an IT security expert and engineer for wireless routers and more, commented. He said when you print a document off on any computer, embedded in that document is usually author information, computer, MAC address information, embedded file information from the software you printed it from, potentially the MAC address from your Wi-Fi router, and also, if you think about it, most printers, if not all, like you got to plug that damn thing into the friggin' internet. And it usually emits its own frequency too. Like, you know, if you have a printer, you'll go on your Wi-Fi on your phone and you'll see there's a printer you can connect to. And then he says, there could be microscopic, almost translucent watermark across the entire document containing everything about you. He says they could embed this also in a very small high-resolution coding system that translates very small hexadecimal characters that you won't even see but will translate to everything I mentioned above, yet you won't even see it. Now, you thought I was going to talk about how the printer ink is like one of the most expensive liquids in the world, and it's the razor and blade model where you said they sell you the printer for cheap, but you got to buy super expensive printer ink all the time. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, does this mean if you went and disseminated documents in your neighborhood, let's say, talking about a particular subject that you think needs to be talked about and it needs to be, people need to be aware of it, all it takes is one guy complains, That gets sent. Then the authorities send it to their head office to look at it under a microscope, and boom, they know where it was printed. The fact that this information, that this technology was made in the 2000s is shocking to me, because clearly they are seeing in the future, what if people start to figure out what we're up to? We better make sure we can find them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
West Adams to Watch reported live. We got content. We got content.
Shut the up! I don't care!
What you recording for, dog? So I can't, nigga, shut.
What's wrong with you, bro?
I'm the one tripping.
It's called having multiple demons inside.
There's only one reason we're gathered here this morning, is to send out the alarm. Alert all New Yorkers that we are heading into a very, very dangerous weather event that is unfolding later today and throughout this weekend into Monday, throughout every corner of the state. No state will be immune from feeling the effect of Mother Nature's wrath on this weekend. So we warned about an extreme weather event yesterday. That event has arrived. It's intensifying as we speak. Now, we're used to winter in New York.
¿Conoces a las sirenas? ¿Cómo nadan las sirenas?
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
The Epstein files prove that Russia is our greatest ally, not our greatest enemy, and that everything we hear about them is propaganda. Putin has said that he's fighting against international Satanism. Who do you think he's talking about when he says that? Maybe the international pedophile ring that blackmails every country on the planet and sacrifices children? Epstein's bank account is literally called Ball. In 2012, he made an email saying that he wants to help overthrow Russia, meaning that Russia isn't controlled by them, and therefore Russia should be your ally if you are a Christian or white person on this planet. They are one of the only countries fighting for your existence because the pedophile satanic ring that controls the world is trying to destroy you.
Столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами. Но они должны понять, что бал вампиров заканчивается.
I truly agree with you. Satanism and occult services, sorceries, this is nonsense. That is something that confuses people, brings them to darkness, and affects them greatly. Affects their psyche, their morale, and we need to fight against it, but do it carefully, without violating human rights. Your colleagues have mentioned it as
What?
Now I know you should blind. Now I know As far as what, right? New York ain't got nothing big.
That counts as a buddy.
I used to hang out with these strippers, and they would tell me that these rappers were all homos. They're like, oh yeah, we get paid to go to these parties with all these rappers, and they just all end up banging each other, and we just hang out. And so I started streaming about that years ago, and everyone's like, oh, that's racist or something. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, this whole industry is like super.
I wonder what the psychology of that is. I think it's because they could get any girl they want. They get bored, right?
I've heard that, and it's also that daddy mentality. If you have the handler groomer, this is going to sound weird, but if you ever see like a male goat, like I'm the boss.
Okay.
And it's about humiliation.
It's a mental thing.
Yeah, similar with like prison stuff. I think it's more like hold my pocket bitch type stuff than it is Brokeback Mountain.
Let me ask you something. Well, let me tell you a quick story, and I'm not going to tell you the name. Okay. But all I'll say is this. There was a woman, I know her. I've spoken at her church. Her husband, they're both pastors. So I've spoken at the church twice. And so we're taking Peggy and I back to the airport. We're done. The conference is done. And we're just talking about the Lord. And she tells us a story. So this woman who's, a pastor's wife, is set to go on to this women's conference where she's speaking. So she's on the plane. She's on a window seat. It's a 4-seater, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. She's in the window seat. Well-dressed man comes walking down the aisle, sits next to her, folds his arms like this, drops his head, goes to sleep. Doesn't think anything of it. They were cruising altitude, and all of a sudden he kind of wakes up, looks around like this, looks over at her, and this is what he says. He doesn't say, hi, my name is, hey, nice meeting you. This is what he says. I bet you'd like to know the name of the Antichrist. She's never seen this guy, has no idea who he is. And I mean, he just opens up with this. I bet you would like to know the name of the Antichrist. And she goes, yes. And she gets her notebook out, and he tells her her name. She writes it down. I can't tell you the rest of the story because I'll give it away, and I won't do that. All I can tell you is that several years later, someone rose up, because I didn't tell you the year, so you have no way of knowing who this is. But someone rose up, and she had written the name down, but she had forgotten it. And her husband said, hey, open your journal. What was that name that you wrote down? And there it was. And they both just looked at each other. Now, take that as you will, but the reason why I bring that up, do you think he's alive today and walking amongst us?
So everyone's been
for
talking
entertainment
about
purposes only.
About Jared
TikTok.
Kushner. Well, I'm sure
Watch with
seen
Me
him
has
pop up
Indiana
a lot
Jones
lately,
discovers
and
another mystery.
Admittedly, he is an interesting guy. In Trump's first term, it was Jared Kushner who came out of nowhere and started to broker Middle East peace deals. It was Kushner who developed the Abraham Accords deal. It was Kushner who helped to set up the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem exactly 70 years on its anniversary. It was Kushner who just recently, even though he holds no official White House position, instituted a major Israel deal between nations this term. And it was Kushner who advised this administration on what could happen if Gaza was vacated and then rebuilt. And now we see he is making plans to turn Gaza into an AI-driven smart city with his Project Sunrise plan. And ironically, Kushner knew the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, since he was a child. It's just interesting how he now is in the mix of all of this, and people are noticing that all of these things are just happening rapidly. They're scratching their heads, and when you look further into Kushner, many are also finding it interesting that it was also Kushner who made history with one of the largest real estate purchases when he acquired the 666 building as his company's office. And of course, what a coincidence there, 666, right? Of course, that would just have to be one of the largest purchases in the United States, the 666 building by Jared Kushner. And then you have people making the point that his name translates into 666 with Hebrew gematria. And then, some say, well, even his height is 6'3", 6'3". So you have all of these coincidences with the number 666. You have all of these negotiations with Israel. So you already know people are going to say that this is sounding like something out of a Left Behind end times movie. Some even jokingly say that he reminds them of the kid from The Omen, all grown up. No comment on that. And so, the internet is going crazy, and there is video after video being made about him. In fact, if you even go to his personal Instagram page, well, look at these comments. And these comments, they don't hold back. They are just calling him this. And, most people would turn off the comments at this point, but it's almost like Kushner is just bold with it. He doesn't care. When people see figures like Jared Kushner making moves like this, and they see all of the coincidences with 666, and oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this, the amount that he purchased the 666 building for was 1.8 billion, 600 million times 3. Just another coincidence, right? And there's so many of them. And so when people see this, it's easy to immediately say, oh yeah, that's the AC. He's got to be the AC. But we have to remember something very important. Revelation chapter's name. You see, one thing about the Bible is that the name of an individual is often linked to their purpose and identity. We see that with Jesus, Yeshua. Yeshua means salvation. Jesus came, brought salvation. The name Emmanuel is also linked to Christ, and that name means God with us. Abraham, that's a name that means father of many nations. So one's name is very important. And let's look at what the name of Kushner, Jared, means. Kushner, many have mentioned that his name in the Hebrew refers to descend or descent. Many have also noted that scholars sometimes connect that to the fallen angels when they descend to the earth, which is interesting. Also, few have noted that the name Jared appears in the Bible in 3 separate books, and in each book he's referred to as being the 6th generation. And so that's interesting that many have pointed that out. People are saying, well, they're connecting him with this whole 6th thing again, right? In Genesis 5 he's shown to be the 6th, and then the Chronicles the 6th, and Luke the 6th from Adam. So they're saying that's some type of an interesting pattern. And I'm just sharing these things because these are things that people have been talking about in the comments. I want to present them to you. People have said that Jared, the generation of Jared, is when the Watchers or the fallen angels came to the earth, right? And that seems to be the truth. We see that right after Jared's generation, that's when there's this story of the angelic beings coming down and interfering with humanity and creating the Nephilim giants, right? And that was during the Jared generation.
Is the person who whispers into the king's ear. The king's advisor holds a lot of power. But anyways, Jared was that person. Everybody knew that if you wanted to get something done, you went through Jared. Okay, Jared was running the White House the first term. He just was. And what I think bothered me was Jared had so much power and he got a lot done that he wanted through President Trump. But then when Jared left his post at the White House, suddenly we learn that Saudi Arabia injects $2 billion into his fund. Okay, this is a headline in the Wall Street Journal. Jared Kushner's new fund plans to invest Saudi money in Israel. And so regarding the money, we would think after being in the office and speaking to your father-in-law that maybe that money would be coming to America in a big way. Well, Forbes did a deep dive on where that money was going. This was the headline. It was why Jared Kushner will become a billionaire no matter who wins. And in that article, it tells us, quote, Affinity had a slow start, deploying almost no capital in its first year while Kushner learned the ropes and navigated a turbulent pandemic market. But it's since picked up the pace and has now invested about $1.6 billion in at least 8 firms in Brazil, Germany, Israel, the US and UK, and the UAE in industries ranging from finance to energy. Its most notable investments so far are the ones that it made in Israel. In September of 2023, Affinity announced a $110 million deal for a 15% stake in the automotive and credit business of the conglomerate Shlomo Group. It was the first ever known investment by Saudi and Qatari wealth funds in Israel. I'm just going to LOL that because I'm funded by Qatar. Okay, take down Candace Owens. It's just like Israel does deals with Qatar the whole time. That's the point here. I really do wish that money was being invested in America, again, because you used the office to facilitate deals that would help you and your family. Of course you did that. Because then you wonder, okay, what is his vision after October 7th?
Why does he have a dungeon in the first place?
Legend has it that after the resurrection, Jesus didn't ascend to heaven. Instead, he stayed on Earth for 11 more years, teaching his disciples advanced Gnostic cosmology, the secrets of the light realms, and how to bypass the archons after death. And it turns out that it was all recorded in a banned text called the Pistis Sophia. And this is one of the most important Gnostic scriptures ever discovered. And not only that, but it's completely unlike the canonical Gospels. This isn't parables and miracles, rather it's Jesus as a cosmic teacher revealing the hidden structure of reality. Now the text opens with Jesus sitting on the Mount of Olives surrounded by his disciples, including Mary Magdalene, who dominates this dialogue. Now Jesus has just returned from the highest light realms and is now glowing with supernatural radiance that terrifies everyone. And for 11 years after his resurrection, Jesus teaches them daily, not about faith or salvation through their belief. He's teaching practical metaphysics, how the universe is structured and how souls navigate the afterlife. He even teaches what powers control each realm and how to defeat them. Now the title Pistis Sophia means faith wisdom, and it refers to a divine feminine being, an eon who fell from the light realms and needs to be rescued. Her story is the central teaching of the text. Here's the cosmology. Above the material world are multiple layers of light realms, the treasury of light, the 13th eon, the 12 eons below that, and the firmament controlled by the archons. Pistis Sophia is an eon, a divine emanation who dwells in the 13th realm. But Pistis Sophia makes a mistake. She sees a light below her and thinks it's from the highest god. She descends toward it, leaving her realm. But the light is actually a trap that was set by Othdates, a rebellious archon, and when she descends, the archons attack her, drain her light, and drag her down toward the chaos. Safe to say she's trapped in the lower realms. Surrounded by archons who mock her and steal her power, she cries out 13 repentances, prayers begging the highest light to rescue her from the darkness she fell into through ignorance. Now Jesus explains in the text that he was sent to rescue her. He descended through all the realms, gathered her light back from the archons, restored her power, and brought her back to the 13th eon. And this story is the central myth. The divine feminine trapped in matter, rescued by the divine masculine light. But here's what makes Pistis Sophia radical for Gnostic teaching. Jesus gives extremely detailed instructions on how to navigate the afterlife. Want more? He describes the exact gatekeepers and rulers you'll encounter when you die. Each realm has specific archons that are guarding it, and they'll try to trap your soul, recycle you back into incarnation, and keep you from ascending to the light. But Jesus teaches the mysteries, secret names, passwords, and seals that you must know to get past each guardian. And if you know the mystery of the 5th realm, you can pass the 5th archon. And if you know the name of the ruler of the firmament, he has to let you through. This is practical eschatology. In other words, it's a manual for soul navigation after death. It's what Gnostics meant by gnosis, not just knowing that you're divine, but knowing the specific information needed to escape the prison of reincarnation. Now, Mary Magdalene asked most of the questions. 39 out of the 46 exactly in the text come from her, and she's portrayed as the primary disciple, the one who truly understands the mysteries better than anyone else. Now, Jesus praises her repeatedly, calling her, "Mary, thou blessed one, whom I will perfect in all mysteries of the height." The other disciples get jealous. Peter complains that Mary talks too much and takes up all the teaching time, but Jesus defends her, saying that she has the right to speak because she understands. And this elevation of Mary Magdalene is classic Gnostic Christianity. Women as spiritual equals or superiors, receiving hidden teaching and understanding mysteries that the male disciples can't grasp. The canonical Gospels suppressed this, and the Pistis Sophia preserved it. The texts also contain hymns, invocations, and detailed descriptions of the light realms. Jesus describes the treasury of light where perfected souls dwell. He also describes the 12 saviors who guard the gates, the triple-powered God, the invisible God, and layer after layer of cosmic hierarchy. It's a little overwhelming. Names and titles and realms stacked on realms, but the point is showing that reality is vastly more complex than the simple heaven and earth duality of Orthodox teaching, that there are degrees of ascension, stages of initiation, and levels of light to be achieved. And Western esotericism absorbed all of the Pistis Sophia's structure. The idea of graduated realms, of gatekeepers requiring passwords, and of secret names granting passage all show up in Golden Dawn pathworking, Rosicrucian initiations, and Masonic degree systems. Now, the rescue of Sophia also became central to esoteric thought. Carl Jung interpreted her as the anima, or the trapped feminine aspect of the psyche that needs to be integrated. Now, Gnostic revival movements see her as the divine feminine exiled in matter, and spiritual work as her rescue and restoration. Now, the Pistis Sophia wasn't discovered until 1773, and it wasn't translated into English until the late 1800s, so that means for over 1,000 years this teaching was completely lost, and when it resurfaced, it became foundational to modern Gnostic movements and Western esoteric understanding of Gnostic cosmology. So yeah, Pistis Sophia isn't just an obscure Gnostic text, it's a complete initiatory manual showing the structure of reality, the path of ascension after death, and the rescue of the divine feminine from the prison of matter, all taught by Jesus across 11 years of advanced secret teaching. So if you want to learn more about Gnostic Christianity and esoteric texts, make sure to like the video, let me know what you think about the Pistis Sophia in the comments below, and follow for more deep dives like this. Till next time.
And that's a wrap for today, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash that subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.